I don't want to use treats in training because then if you do not have a treat, the dog won't listen. Or my dog only listens when they see a treat. How do I change that? Those are some of the most common concerns that I hear regarding reward-based training. Today, I'm going to explain to you the pretty small but very impactful mistake that creates these situations where the dog only listens when they see a treat. And I'm also going to show you how we can very quickly turn this around. Let's go. First of all, I train my dogs using reward-based methods. So I use a lot of food rewards, I use a lot of toy rewards, and still my dogs listen very well without being shown a treat. That's not magic, that's not because they are especially intelligent, that's not because I'm a dog trainer. It's only because I pay attention to one very minor but extremely impactful detail when teaching behaviors. If your dog currently needs to see a treat in order to perform a behavior, then you definitely have missed out on this detail so far. To understand why your dog currently needs to see what you got before they do a behavior, we have to quickly dive into the theory behind learning a little bit. Whenever our dog learns to do a skill, there are 3 parts that happen in every repetition. First, there's something called the antecedent. That's basically the thing that comes before the behavior, the cue, the command. For example, you saying sit or come. Then there's the behavior itself, the dog sitting or coming to you. And finally, there's the consequence. For our reward-based purposes, that would be a food or a toy reward. Together, this spells ABC: antecedent, behavior, and consequence. Just fancy words for what comes before the behavior, what starts it, the behavior itself, and then how you're gonna reward your dog. Now here's the big mistake that nearly everybody makes when they first start out with dog training. They make the reward a part of the antecedent. Most people do not just say sit to their dog. Most people do this. If this is how you cue your dog to sit, then holding the cookie, the presence of the cookie, and even the luring motion of the cookie is part of what cues your dog to do the behavior. Then if suddenly one day you do not have a cookie and you do not hold the cookie and you just say sit, your dog has no idea what they're supposed to do because this looks completely different from the cue they have known so far. We're really confusing them by first saying, hey, the cue for sit is me holding a cookie over your head. And then suddenly we say, actually, just kidding, it's not. I want you to also do it a different way. If your dog needs to see a treat in order to perform a behavior, then it is because you have made the treat a part of the cue. Same thing with come. If your dog only comes when you hold out a cookie to them, or if your dog only comes when you shake a bag of cookies, or if your dog only comes when you squeak their favorite toy, then it is because you have made this part of the cue. And if then you change up the cue, you remove squeaking the toy or shaking the treat bag or showing the treat from the cue, the dog has no idea what they're supposed to do. So here's how we actually have to train. We cannot make the treat a part of the cue. The treat is the consequence, the reward, the thing that happens after the dog has performed the correct behavior. So if we have elegant training mechanics, it's gonna look like this. We say sit, or we give the dog a hand signal if you'd like. The dog sits, and then we reward the dog. So this is something that you just have to change in how you're training. This is not something that your dog's doing wrong, and that's not a problem with treat-based training. Now, if you already have a dog that's very used to always seeing the treat and always being shown the treat, then here is how we can rebuild this cue and give them back the trust that they will be rewarded, even if they cannot see the treat. All right, if you have a dog who currently only listens when they see a treat and we have to lure them and say the command, here's how we're gonna change it up. First of all, remember, It's not your dog who's naughty. It's not a problem with treat training. It's just little twists that we have to make in the order of actions. All right, I'm going to use the cue of lying down for him. He already has lie down on cue. I'm going to actually use the German word Platz, which he doesn't understand. So let's say right now I would have to lure my dog into the Platz and really show him the cookie. Platz. This is how I do it right now. Okay, so first I want to only say my cue, Platz. Then I'm gonna wait a split second. Then I'm going to lure with the cookie. This is how I'm going to start separating the verbal cue from having to show and bribe and lure. Okay, I'm going to wrap the cookie in my fingers and then I'm going to put it away, just here in my pocket. I'm going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to say Platz, then I'm going to lure with my now empty hand that smells like cookies. Then I'm going to deliver a treat from my pocket. Break. Platz. Yes. Good. Okay, next, I'm going to again wrap my fingers on the cookie and I'm going to place it a little bit away, maybe here. I'm going to say my cue. I'm going to do my luring motion. Then I'm going to get the treat because we want to make the treat less and less part of the picture. Platz. Yes. Good job. Here you go. Well done. Good. Break. Going to do the same thing again. This time I'm going to put it even further away. Platz. Good. Well done. Okay. You see how quickly he caught on. He has never heard this word before in his life. This is how quickly they learn if you have correct order of actions. The verbal cue, then if you need to, you lure, but not with the cookie for too long. Then we reward. Good job. Good. Break. And of course you see no treats. My hands are empty. Platz. Yes, well done. This is how quickly we learn a new verbal cue now. Okay, so this is how if your dog currently really needs you to show them what you got, how you would transition away from it. First, do not give the verbal cue and do the luring action at the same time. You do the verbal cue, then you lure, and you start rubbing the cookie in your fingers, put it away, or even further away. Have your dog perform the action, then you reward them. So, once more. The cookie is never part of the cue. You give the verbal cue or your hand signal. The dog does what you want them to do, and then the reward is the consequence. The reward, the treat, is never what comes before the behavior. All right, so that's it. You don't have to worry ever again about your dog not listening unless you show them a cookie, because now you know this was just a little mistake in how you were arranging the training. You change how you arrange it, your dog will listen super well. All right, till next time.